Hello and welcome to a very special Lions Lounge. It's the channel's 1 year anniversary. I'm at the Den with my all-time favourite hero. Good to have you here.
No, it's great to be here, mate. It's good. It's always good to come back to the Den. You always get a nice welcome.
Falkirk to Millwall.
Yeah.
Why Millwall? Was there other interest?
No, to be honest with you, there was a couple of Millwall wanted me to re-sign, and I think it was Jimmy Nichol who came down when I was leaving in Millwall. He offered us an extra 50 quid a week, so I told him where to go with that. So that never materialised. But I always wanted to have a go down in England, and I think when you think there's 92 teams to pick, I think I probably got the right one to start me off, because the way I was and living my life now, and the Millwall kind of following, it was just ideal for me.
Yeah. So you came in, Bruce Ruddock signed you.
Yeah.
That was he. Didn't last long here, but he made a good move with you.
In all honesty, I actually really like Bruce. The thing about Bruce was he was a disciplinarian, and they had a few kind of wild chills here, you know, the Hurlock and Horney and guys like that. So, you know, Rhino. So
he's still up in the bar, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I know. I think he's eating the bar, isn't he? So the thing is about Bruce was that I actually liked what he was trying to stand for. I didn't quite appreciate it at the time, but he was very meticulous in all his detail and things, and I was grateful for the opportunity to come down here. And as you said, we got to the playoffs in the first year. Yeah. There were some right good players in that team, and unfortunately never quite happened the following year. Yeah.
Replaced by Big Mick McCarthy. What was he like, Big Mick? He's still in football, Big Mick.
He's a great lad, Mick. I kind of struggled initially when Mick got it, because I was pals with Mick. You know, we used to have a few pints and things, and then all of a sudden he became my boss. And at the age I was at, I was only a boy, and I found it difficult. One of my mates telling us what to do, and it was a wee bit of a kind of rocky start for us. Yeah. And I have to say, he handled it brilliantly. I'll never forget the time he said to me, "I want you to play right midfield." And I told him where to go. Don't take a fly, take yourself right. and he went, "Is that right?" He said, "Well, no, you do then. You're on the bench." And I think for about 7 games I was on the bench.
Oh really?
Yeah, honestly. It was the only time I was ever out of the team at Millwall. And he brought me back at right midfield. He says, "Do you want to play right midfield this weekend?" I says, "Oh, of course I do," because I was sitting in Mars for weeks on end. Yeah. And I scored 2 goals. And it was a great lesson to me. It was like, listen, whenever you're asked to play, you play. And that's what I did. So it was a good learning curve for me with Mick.
Talking of your goals at the Den.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not just at the Den anyway. I remember an hat-trick up at Notts County. I never saw you score a tap-in. It's just got some unbelievable goals for us.
I remember scoring a goal up there against Charlton. Jamie Morale hit it across the goal, and I managed to get a nick, and it just kind of deflected it in, and he tried to steal the goal off us.
Who, Morley?
Yeah, it's slippery. So. But no, the thing is, but there's a good story behind the Den. Yeah, sorry, the hat-trick at Notts County. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that, and I think if you check the records, it was around about Christmas time. Right. And we went up there and we scored a hat-trick. And we had a party in Uptown. Big Mick had organised it in a hotel.
You liked a party, didn't you?
Yeah, very much so. And I dressed up as a bird. And I had a mini skirt on, red high heels, boob tube and all that on, right? And I've pitched up on the back of this hat-trick. So we were a wee bit worse for wear, and there was a party just along in one of the estates we were invited to after that party. So it was about 2:30 in the Sunday morning, and we were going past Thomas à Becket. Yeah. And there was no right turn there. I don't know if it's still the same now. Anyway, I said to my missus, "Just go round." And the old bill put was up, right? So I get out of the car, and the copper on the passenger side said to me, "Can you get back in your car, madam?" Because I had the wig and all that on, right? So anyway, I went, "Leave it out, geezer." You should have seen his face, because he thought I was a bird, right? And it turns out they were Millwall fans, and the 2 geezers were in tears because they were praising me in the afternoon. Here I was dressed up as a bird. It was just you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up.
It was another man who liked to drink in our team, Thatcher. Talk to me about Thatcher. I've heard so many stories on Scratch.
Yeah, Ben was a lovely lad. He used to take me back. I didn't drive. Unfortunately, I lost my licence, and he used to take me back to Brands Hatch. And it was a place called Horton Kirby. Yeah, I know. And he used to drive from the top of the hill all the way down the hill, and he'd do a handbrake turn as you was going right, and you'd be doing like a 3 pirouette round, and then he would take me home. But he was insane, the guy. He was off his seat, but he was a lovely. At that time, you'd Ben, Hurlock, Rhino, Gavin Maguire, Vanden Howe. You know, it was just a team. Andy Roberts, just guys that could, you know, fight for the cause. It was a great place to play football.
One player I want to ask you about, just from my own personal thing. E.T. Etienne Verveer.
Yeah,
What was he about? I can't find him anywhere, by the way.
No, he's probably the king of Zamunda now, but he was a great lad. He was a great guy, you know. We used to we have a few nights out, and we'd phone him at 2 and 3 in the morning, just to annoy him. But he was a good footballer, E.T. Very fit guy and technically good. But I don't think anyone's ever heard of him.
No, it's like
You should start a campaign.
Obscure players that only ever play for Millwall, like Christoph Kinno was another one. I've got some great stories on him a little bit after your time. What was it like on a Saturday, a typical Mick McCarthy? What was it like in the changing room? Who was where? Who was buzzy? Who was doing what?
Well, do you know the good thing about Mick? I watched Mick playing as a player, obviously, at Republic Island, and they were a bit direct. But when his teams were they're really passing team. It was a good brand of football that he was playing. And the one good thing about Mick is he was a purist. He wanted to play the game in the right manner, but he also wanted it done properly. So that's the reason why he's been in management so long. I can't speak highly enough about Big Mick.
He's been in there a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say, you come in under Ruddock and then McCarthy came in and replaced him. You was also here at the transition between the old den and the new.
Yeah.
What was that like for you coming from? I mean, we left the old den when I was 13.
Yeah.
And it used to scare the shit out of me just going, even though I was a Millwall fan. What was it like to transition, the times around the club? What was it like making the switch over?
Yeah, well listen, see my first day coming down, I'd left Falkirk. It was a small club in Scotland, and to be fair, the stadium at was called Brockville, was falling to bits. It was a disgrace. And then I came to Millwall and I thought I may as well go back to Falkirk, but this place is a shithole. But and I thought, why am I? Because I had visions of this big club. It had just come out of the Division 1, which was effectively the top flight. And then I'm driving into this place, and I'm thinking, oh, I got this all wrong here. But I grew to love it. It was so intimidating. And I was talking about a guy up here. The head of security here used to be a guy called Ken Chapman. Right. He worked for the chief superintendent, Ken Chapman. And he had his big stick, and he had the hat and the brass, and he looked top man. And he used to come in and warn all the players at the den. He'd go, do not incite trouble. Whatever you do not incite trouble. And he'd come over and go, if you incite trouble, we're arresting you immediately. And every time I'd score a goal, I'd be going, get up to the opposition fans. And you know that man, every time I come back here, he's still here. I think he's still part-time security, part of the infrastructure. And every time I see him, he gives me a lovely big cuddle. And that's going back nearly 27 years. That guy used to warn me every home game, don't cause trouble.
I remember when you first come, said don't get nicked today, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
But you scored, I think it was 5 goals in your first 5 home games, wasn't it? When you first come to the old den.
Yeah, but that was partly because of the drink we were getting in the Gym Palace down the Old Ken Road. But the thing is, it was I got off to a really good start. And the thing is, as I said to you, we had guys like Teddy, we had Les Briley, Woods, McCleary, Dawes, we Alan Dawes, Hornley. It was a really good team at the time with Jimmy Carter on the right, O'Callaghan, and then with Teddy and Malcolm Allen. We had a really good team.
So, talking about the nights out and the booze, I don't want to push it too much, but I did hear, for a good source, that you kept Regal Sports in Eltham. In good, used to go there every before training, then you pick up a new pair of boots.
Well, one of the things that I think it might have been Mick introduced, that you had to wash your own kit. So they gave you a couple of sets of kit at the start of the year, and sometimes when they were so. In the morning, you obviously didn't have your training kit with you, so you end up having to go in there and buy a new set of training kit, new boots, just to pick you up at training. But listen, they were a bit. You couldn't get away with that stuff now. You couldn't go. And listen, it's been a long time since I've been on straight and narrow for 18 years now. So thankfully, I've managed to kind of see the light and appreciate the football for what it is now.
Yeah. Another big time for me personally as well when you were at the cup run of '95.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk us through that. We remember that, the good times of that. I've interviewed
Who did we beat? We beat obviously Arsenal, didn't we?
And then Chelsea on penalties.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Both went to replays, both away from home.
Yeah. Well, the Arsenal game was brilliant. Yeah, that was unbelievable because we came here. I think we drew here, and then we went back over there, and then obviously Birdie and I think young Kennedy came into his own then, and that really catapulted him into the public domain. And the very last kick of the ball, Ian Wright tried to turn blind, and I thought, oi, I've got him here. And I had a perception of Wright as a bit flash. I thought, I'm going to have him in 2 here. And I turned him and I just nailed him. And he's got up and he's wanting to fight with us, and the referee's blowing the final whistle. We're exchanging a few pleasantries, and I'm telling him, do one right. And I went to walk into the players' lounge afterwards, and just from behind the door, right, he's trying to lay one on my chin, right?
Is he really?
Yeah, and it all kicked off and all that. Right? So I ended up telling them what to do with our players' lounge. And this is a true story. About 4 or 5 years ago, Ian Wright, Cal Robinson, who was working at MK Dons, came up to me and he says to us, he says, "I'm getting a new striker coach in." I said, "All right, lovely, who's that then?" He went, "Ian Wright." You might want to rethink that. The last time I seen Wright, we were running to knock 7 bells out each other.
You should have gone, yeah, get him in and wait behind the door for him.
No, because
for 20 years ago.
Can I just tell you something, by the way? I never meet a nicer guy in football. He's a Millwall supporter.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I'm trying to get hold of him actually.
Yeah, he's a great lad.
Yeah. So, we're at the Den, obviously, for those who can't see maybe on my camera. Talk us through some of your best times, your best goals, things that stick out in your mind.
Oh, listen, there's been so many, and it's not really just one individual. We just had some really good times here. You know, I loved it. I loved it when the full houses. You're talking about when Chelsea and Arsenal came here, and it's pretty much full. The atmosphere is just special. I always said that I wish that Millwall would get back to the Premier League. Can you imagine this place with all these superstars? They just wouldn't cope.
We'd settle for the Championship in a minute.
Yeah, I understand that, but just can you imagine the actual, if you could get back up to that level of football, you would sell this out on a regular basis, and I just don't think the Premier League could cope with the Millwall
way
machine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was, you left the club eventually, went on to Sunderland.
Yeah.
Good dough. Was that a choice that you made yourself, or was that something that was sort of put upon you?
I see, if I'm honest, there was over the time that I was here, the 6 years, there was times that I wanted to leave because I wanted to try my time up.
Of course.
And then they were selling guys like Ben, John Goodwin, Andy Roberts, Casey went. So there was loads of guys that were good, and I just felt it had become a selling club, and I wanted to go and try and earn a few quid, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway. And then I went to Sunderland, which was great, because I was telling the boy earlier on that I moved to Sunderland, but in my mind I'm thinking I'm 2.5 hours from Glasgow, I can go up and watch Rangers whenever I want.
Yeah.
So, but that worked out a brilliant move for us, because I kind of get my lifestyle sorted up there, and I moved again. It was a transition from Roker to the Stadium of Light, and from going from 18 to 20,000, we were playing in front of 50,000. It was just unbelievable. It was a great time. We were top 7 in the Premiership. It was good stuff.
Talking, you touched on it, Casey Keller. What was he like as a character around the club? And
Casey was a very quiet guy. He done it about his business, very professional. I think he was going to do a masters in business management or something. So he didn't quite fit into the madness that was going around about him. But I admire him for what he did, and he was a model professional.
Talking about the madness and nights out, what about, you've got any like changing room or training ground stories that stick out in your mind? Can you give us one back?
Listen, I remember taking Teddy Sheringham up to an Old Firm game.
Yeah.
And we were up there, and it was a European city of culture in Glasgow. So the nightclubs were shutting at 6 and 7 in the morning, so it was a bit messy. And I took Sheringham up there, and without going into too much details, we went to, Rangers won the cup final, and then we went back to the after party, and in these days, when you missed your flight, it was none of this computer stuff, we'll just book another one, so it was a standby. And Big Teddy was first up. They says, we're looking for 2 flights to London, and I'm thinking to myself, it's Bruce Ruddock, so you didn't want to be late, you know what I mean, you knew you were in for trouble. So anyway, Big Teddy's there now, and she went, I've only got 1 flight, and she went, Teddy Sheringham. So I'm sticking there, I went, cheers, Jeff. So anyway, a long story short, I pitched up at 12:30 for training, and it was at Eltham. And it was a little pavilion. As I'm walking around, I seen all the players, and they're sitting there in their training gear, and none of them are sweating. And I'm thinking, my God, there's something right here. So I was expecting to see them training.
Yeah.
And as I walked in, Mick McCarthy grabbed me by the throat. He went, I was at the effing game, and I was here in time. And I went, yeah, I know, Mick, but your mum get fucked.
That's right. Unbelievable, mate. Thanks so much for doing it. Appreciate it. Nice one. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm joined today by a Millwall legend. He needs no further introduction, Tony Cascarino. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
You signed for Millwall in '87 from Gillingham. You scored a lot of goals for Gillingham. Why did you decide for Millwall? You must have had a lot of other interest.
I did. I spoke to Leeds and Ipswich at the same time. Then I come to meet John Doherty at the Den, the old Den. He wouldn't let me out of the office. Literally trapped me. Give me a few vodka and orange juices as well. Talked about who he wanted to play alongside. He said, "I want to play you alongside the lad Sheringham, who was 22 at the time." And the previous season, I'd watched a lot of Millwall with my friends, so I was playing for Gillingham but watching Millwall, and liked the look of telly. I thought, something different. And They talked about the other signings that are coming to the football club as well. Georgie Lawrence, Kevin O'Callaghan, Stevie Wood. You know, quite a number of players were mentioned. And I don't know why. You don't get that feeling that something special is going to happen, that something's going to develop. And lo and behold, I signed, and 2.5 years to nearly 3 years I was there.
Yeah, well, something special did happen. We so some of my earliest memories, my man first took me in '85, so I've grown up sort of 8 years old, 9 years old, watching your era. How did that feel to be part of like the most successful Millwall side of all time? Because that's where you are.
Well, it's always strange for me going to Millwall, because a lot of my friends were Millwall fans. I'd watched the 70s team in the Kitcheners, the Donaldson, Harry Cripps. I'd seen all them. I used to go and watch Millwall quite a lot because it was my local team. And my dad was from the Elephant and Castle, so you know it was literally on the doorstep. And it felt quite weird that I'd signed, and I didn't play well initially. In the opening probably 4 to 6 games, I didn't really hit the ground running. And
it takes time to settle.
Well, it did, but I didn't. I think John Doherty didn't think I was fit enough. You know, he really worked hard on me. Yeah. He trained me. Me, Terry Ehrlich and Brian Hall, bless us, the three of us, after training finished, he would call all of us together and go, "You three ain't going home yet. You've got another 45 minutes of running." To be fair, I think all of us benefited, and me especially, because I was a good athlete when I was fit. If I was, like most big centre forwards, if you're slightly off your game physically, you can look a bit cumbersome, awkward, and I benefited from the extra training.
Right, and then obviously we won the league, the second division. We went into what would now be the Premier League.
Yeah.
The 1988-89 season, we finished 10th. They were good times. A massive part of that was your strike partnership with Teddy.
Yes, yeah.
It obviously worked off on the pitch. Did it work off the pitch? You get on?
Yeah, no, we get on really well. Got a lot of time for Ted. We've had loads of conversations with him. We played golf together, we played poker together, we talked football. I was around him when he was at Stevenage, you know, not in any working capacity, just seeing how he was doing it, and you know, seeing how focused he was trying to get the job right. He isn't there now, but I don't believe it will be a long time before Ted's back in football. I was surprised at how much he brought in, I must be honest, because everyone knows that Ted's likes life and likes to play golf and enjoy himself, and he was so focused on management that it even took me back. So
when you played together, did you make you do like try and get you together occasionally, like the club try and get you to do stuff together as a couple almost? No,
Ted he was 22 and I was 25, so I was the record fee. And when I first played my debut for Millwall, I can remember playing the game and Teddy was ordering me around on the pitch, and I'm thinking, Millwall just paid a record fee for me. Will you stop ordering me around? And we had a bit of a sort of ding dong, but nothing, you know, just a few words exchanged. And I felt maybe I should order you around a bit, but I think Ted's a good talker. Yeah, he talks really well on the pitch, and we sort of chatted. And Ted would be one that if I said something, he would give an answer back, and vice versa. And we always stay close. I think we enjoyed playing together, and we saw some rough times. We had some great times, and to be fair, he established himself at Millwall. That's where he did. And the thing of when I left, Teddy had the best season after I left. So maybe I was keeping him down.
Well, maybe. We've just got a clip here. I was going to show a quick clip. Obviously, not only was you part of the first ever Millwall team to play on the top flight, you also scored our first and second goals against a club you like, joined Aston Villa.
Taken by O'Callaghan. Cascarino! Tony Cascarino has already put his trademark on the First Division with 20 minutes gone. Oh, there's a mistake by a rather nervy Alan Evans. Sheringham finding Dawes. It's Cascarino again. He's scored again. This is incredible.
Obviously, that was what a great side. You see Dawes there, he was a great little whipper. How was Docky as a manager? Did he have control of everyone? I want to know everything. I want to know about Erlock. I want to know the lot. But start with the Doc. What was the Doc like? Was he a big authoritative Scotsman?
Very loyal to people he liked and loved in his team. Obviously Terry, Les Briley, Rhino, Teddy, myself, Woody, loads of us.
Did you think about it too now? You still give me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, Doc was very loyal to that team. Maybe a tad too loyal, because it obviously, when you get success for a group, we all signed new contracts, we all got better deals, we all, grew together in the top flight. That Villa game that we just saw, for me getting 2 goals in my Premier League debut, or Division 1 as it was then, was a special day, an even special night, because we all went out in the club in Swanley, which is no deja vu. We were all in that night. I got chucked out.
Now. You got thrown out?
I got thrown out, by the bouncers, threw me out. I was completely drunk. But wanted to fight everybody. So that was a good night. We had a great bond between us. We had a reunion, funny enough, not with everybody, but about 9 or 10 players. Sean Sparham, David Thomas, Stevie Wood, myself, Orney, Teddy. Obviously others couldn't get there, but we just had a bit of a drink together, which was lovely. Yeah, so nice seeing.
With football, you end up split apart from people, and it's good to get back
together.
And
we done a lot together. One time we were top of the league. I remember.
Unbelievable.
Being top of the league and that feeling.
I was 8 then.
You're going to make me feel old, man. Stop mentioning your age. That makes me 1,000.
So I mean, good side. Everything must come to an end. All good things. You eventually left the club for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
For 1.1.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money then.
It was, and it was a difficult one, because I didn't ask to leave. Millwall said we've accepted a bid for Aston Villa, and as a player, you're always stereotyped, aren't you? As you demanded, you throwed your toys, you're demanding to leave because the club's going down. The club was, on the brink of Bob Pearson taking over. We were going to go down, and we were very close to, by the end of March. So I had a decision to make, and I took a week over it, come back to the club, and Graham Mortop, who was the secretary at the time, said, "You've got to go." I had no choice. So when I played against Millwall for Villa in a cup game.
Get grief.
And all the Millwall fans singing Judas at me. It felt really strange, because it was like you want to say to them, I didn't ask to leave them. I didn't ask to go. I was told I had to go.
There you go.
So and it was a club that I had a lot of affection for.
Yeah. So could you give us, without stitching anyone, one dressing room story from your time at Millwall?
There was a number, Dan, to be fair. I think the one that sticks out in my mind is when we played Wimbledon at the Old Den, and they had a feisty team at that time. People like Vinnie Wisey, John Fashanu were in the team, and the first time I think Tenny gets sent off in the opening period, and it was just heated. And when we were doing corners and that, John Fashanu was telling me, "Come pick me up, big man. Come on, just giving it a lot to me." And I sort of didn't say too much, and I sort of battled away with him and carried on. It got to half time. We walked down the tunnel, which went sideways in them days. We didn't go straight down. We're in there, he comes up and he pinches me bum, John Fashion. And I'd done no more, just because I knew Terry Earlott was next to me, I stuck my nut on him. Well, it sort of got a bit skirmishy, and we sort of got into the dressing room. Terry Earlott was loving every minute of it, and he came up and he went, "I can't believe you done that." And started kissing my hand. Like the Godfather. I felt like Don Corleone.
Was he as hard as everyone made out, Tel?
Well, he could be if he lost it. Tel was a fiery bugger. He was, fiery bugger, Terry, if he lost it. But he was also very soft and sensitive. There was a side to Terry. He's very, very funny. Yeah. Witty guy, Terry. I loved his company. But if you saw his sort of half flick and change, you could see. But ever since then, he's always. Every time I meet him, and I don't see Tel that often, unfortunately, but he always kisses my hands. It's like that moment, and I'm sort of said to Tel, "I only done it because you were there. If you weren't there, I weren't here back in fresh, he'd have killed me." But he was a great mate to be around. Just Terry was always up. Whatever you talk about, commitment, and very underrated as a player.
Yeah, well, I think he's very, very decent. Our whole team's underrated, I think. But moving on to the team of now, do you still get a chance to get down the Den?
I did last year, and I was got a bit disillusioned under Ian Holloway. I didn't like formations.
We all did.
The lads Sid Nelson. Now, when he was made captain after 3 games as an 18-year-old, I didn't get that at all. I saw he played Bradford at home, he drew 3-3, and Fuller scored 2 and was left out in the replay, got beat 4-0. It was just loads of things that I thought were wrong at the club, and I did sort of make my feelings vocal to certain people at the club. it fell on deaf ears, but eventually they did get rid of Ian and
Neil Harris.
Neil, well, I thought it was the right fit. I thought they had to have a connection. I thought Millwall lost their identity as a club, and you know, I always wanted Teddy to have a go at that job. I thought it was the right job for Teddy at the right time. And it wasn't the right time after Ian, and I think Neil was certainly that. You know, I think Neil's done a great job in organising them, setting them up, and found a partnership in Gregory and Morrison. You know, Steve Morrison I was very dubious about that period because I just felt he'd earned a lot of money, had some good moves, and lost a little bit of hunger.
Looks like he's rock up his arse now.
He looks like he's found it. He's found himself again, and realising maybe because he knows his days is in the twilight of his career that he's got an opportunity, but it's worked. He's found a partnership deal, and that has certainly paid huge dividends this year.
Do you think we can go up?
I don't see a reason why. Because why not? Because the team has got better as the season's gone on. You know, very indifferent start, wasn't it? You know, some real
very inconsistent army, but we seem to have cracked that now.
And I don't think when I've seen you at home, I've not. The style's been quite not Millwall, sitting off slightly, letting the team have it in certain positions, and that's fitted. I would like to think that we can progress it and then start to play on the front foot and make it a bit more where you're going to have to win games differently, because teams do watch you, they do suss you out, they might not say, look, these will sit off you, so don't panic. You know, so I think there's things that Neil can move the team on with, and I think they're going to have to, but there's a great chance of Millwall not only get to the playoffs, but might even get automatic if they can keep what they're doing at the moment.
I'm a strong, I mean, it's always been like that, but I'm a strong believer we're in a form side division, we can do it. Finally, Tone, what you want to tell the viewers what you're up to now? I know you do talk sport.
Well, I do a bit of it. I mean, I work for the Times, I do the Irish Sun, I go to Ireland regularly to do many different functions. I work for BetDAC, a sports betting company. I do so many different stuff, like Sky Sports News. I sometimes talk sport. A bit of a media guru. Yeah, I mean everywhere. But I've always had a lot to say. I always enjoyed doing media work. Some days I regret that I never went down the coaching road, but I think if the right door opened, it might have made an easier decision, but that never really happened.
Stress-free this way though for you, isn't it?
Well, it is stress-free, and I always think you've got, with a club, you've got to have an identity with a club most times. I think that's what works for clubs especially like Millwall, and I think they've gone away from that until really Neil, and that has been the ultimate difference for me from where they were in the last few years, where they are now.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for your time, Tom. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you. I'm here with Neil Razor Ruddock. Razor, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice.
Top man, very much. Appreciate it. Right, let's get cracking. Got some great stories. We've had a little chat already. Let's start at the very beginning. You are a Millwall fan. Can you just clear it out, because a few people on you about you may be West Ham, you may be this.
No one can see that. No one likes us.
It's there. I can.
That's me tattoo. No, I've always I grew up in Wandsworth. Both my big brothers were Millwall, so I was told I was Millwall.
Yeah.
I lived close to Chelsea. You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago, I thought, why couldn't I be a Chelsea fan and go and watch matches and win games and trophies and that pattern? We're shit, right? But it's our shit. There's no one else's shit. We love it being shit. It'd be horrible being good, because
there's nothing to fucking moan about.
That's right. That's right. It makes. But the thing was, my brother's going. It's like Millwall's. You got a happy week all week. You're all happy, and it's nice to be mad for a couple of hours a week. That's why Millwall fans. It's nice.
A little bit of anger.
Yes, keep anger out. Yeah.
So you ended up signing for the club.
Yeah.
You come through the youth system.
Yeah, I was. I used to watch them my first memory was like Barry Kitchener, people like that.
Yeah.
And then it was like the Cusacks, and John Mitchell was a striker. He was my favourite years ago. And then I come from the youth ranks and played I started playing reserve team for 15. I mean, the first reserve game for Millwall was away at Spurs. I was still at school and I played against Archibald and Crooks.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my early memories. A bit before your early time, but it was my early memories of Millwall.
There's a rumour circulating that whilst at Millwall, as a youth team player, you got collared, causing a bit of havoc at Luton. I've been asked to ask that. Yeah,
I was on the pitch at Luton kicking off with the boys. I think I was a first year apprentice at Luton. It was 84, 5, something like that.
85, yeah.
Yeah, so I was on the pitch trying to kick off. Then the old Bill brought the dogs on, so we all shit ourselves. I remember trying to run away from a police dog, and I was on the back of the South London Press. He just went hooligans. It was me in the back of the South London Press.
Millwall player at the
Millwall
time.
player, youth player, and George Graham see it, and he made me clean the terraces at the old den for 2 weeks sweeping.
Oh really?
So that was me. That was me punishment.
You got on well up, Mill, done all right, and then you ended up. See, we check things out on Wikipedia and you research it. Don't always come back as the truth. So, what I saw, you left in 1988. You went to Tottenham just as you come into the first team. What was the story around that?
It was a transfer deadline day. Fashion did sign for Wimbledon. George Graham called me in and he said, "We've got to sell you. They need the money." I had an hour to decide whether to sign for Norwich or Tottenham.
Right.
It took me about 10 seconds.
Yeah, you fucking got moved then, have you?
I got to move, and I didn't have to move house and that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, 1 minute I'm in the reserves at Millwall, and next minute I'm trading Waddle and Waddle. So it was Martinez, Clements, people like that. So it was just like astonishing sort of 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on £120 at Millwall, and I got £360 at Spurs, and a brand new XR2. And I couldn't even drive. I didn't have a brand new XR2 a week.
No. The money away.
Yeah, got 360 brand new XR2, and there was a white one with Go Fast red stripe down it.
Is that the one you got in
No, I still ain't got it.
So you went to Spurs, you knocked around 8, then you come back to your... Is it always a bit nice when you come back, you know, you shouldn't have fucking sold me, I'm back now, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People get that, players get that?
Yeah, because they just come up. They just come up into the Premier League games now, the first division, they just got promoted, so... You know, it was good times. Everyone, the place was buzzing, but let's just fill out with John Doherty.
Go on. Can you say?
Yeah, of course I can. There's a lot of rumours.
There is a lot of rumours, and
well,
I won't ask you. I'll see.
The truth is, we was on pre-season friendly. We went to Walsall, and me and another player sneaked out. I won't name him. Teddy Sheringham. And we went on the piss come, and I got caught. He didn't get caught, and then Doc made me life hell, and then I just sort of left.
Oh, really? Because you scored. I was looking, researching. I mean, I
remember
you scored 2 at the home game against Forest. I remember that.
No, the equaliser against Forest.
The
equaliser scored against Forest.
Scored like a sliding goal in a midweek game down the
Cup against Gillingham. So what's the rumours about me getting?
Well, I don't want to disrespect any other players, but yeah, the rumour circulating. Hang on, pass it by. You might want to hear this, mate. Keep walking.
I don't. You want to hear this?
The rumour circulating around the club at the time, and one still now. One of my mates spoke to me yesterday. Is that you was having a bit with Cascarino's wife, and you made a tear up over it.
So,
well, that's the rumour.
I was shaking Cascarino's wife.
You've just quashed
leave it at that then. Leave it at that. That's proper Millwall. It's not true, but we'll leave it at that. That sounds better than going out with Teddy Sheringham, doesn't it?
Now, look, again, a lot of fat. See, I know Razor, and he'll talk about anything. He don't give a fuck, and that's why I know you're a top bloke. You'll do it. A lot of Mill fans. Oh, why did he sign for West Ham? Why did he sign for Palace? You've told me your theory.
I was spying. I was like 007 there. I fucked up at West Ham because we got to Europe twice.
Yeah.
So I fucked up for everyone there. We was too good, and then I went to Palace, but I nearly took them down. Stayed up by 1 point. I tried my hardest, lads, and we nearly took them down. No, it's the time. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a job. I was at Liverpool. The time was right to me move on. West Ham come in for me. You know, and money's good. You got to look after your family. And,
mate, I understand it.
You know, Millwall tattoo. I used to wear long sleeves at West Ham, so I had a Millwall tattoo. So, but they all West Ham knew I was Millwall fans, and they used to think it was quite funny actually.
Yeah.
But no, you know, I've never, wherever I've gone, even when I was West Ham, I'm telling everyone I was Millwall. So, you know, I walk in there, they got that big box. They got all their nutters got a big box at the end of West Ham. Every match I'd walk in after the game. No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us, we don't care. We are. They go, sit down, you fat. We're trying to watch the scores.
I'll have to get that one bleeped. Right, now, I mean, it's a Millwall channel. It's very Millwall based, but from my own selfishness now, me growing up as a kid, I want to know about your time at Liverpool. I want to know about the Spice Boys, the suits in the cup final, being around characters like David James, Robbie Fowler.
When I first went there, we had like Grobbelaar, Rush, Molby, Weed and Nickel, people like that. Then we had sort of like then the Rednecks come through, Fowlers, McAteers, Gals, Dixies, David James, and then Michael Owen come through. Then we got Gerard come. Gerard was reboot boy. Carragher, yeah.
What was he like, Gerard?
Yeah, little mouthy little fucker.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He still is. When he has a beer, he still wants to have a tear up. So I have to give him a slap round the ear. I'll keep him in order.
Keep him in order, yeah, definitely.
But they're lovely, they you know, the people, they're not flash at all, they're nice boys, typical.
Redknapp, was he like Jamie Redknapp?
Jamie, yeah, he can. I started sharing a room with Jamie Redknapp. It was like the best room part of the world because he used to pull the darlings and I used to fuck her fat friends. I just hope the birds weren't saying that about us too.
Oh, fucking hell. This is brilliant. It's fucking true. When I mentioned it, Redknapp, I thought that's the way. I thought he's not going to say it. He's not going to say it, and he'd say it. So if you need a wingman, obviously Jamie Redknapp's
best
always Fowler. Didn't I had a room as well? You got on really well with Fowler, and you do pranks on each other. And one day he went too far. Did he cut your shoes up and you chinned him?
No, he shit me Reebok Classics when I was asleep on an airplane, and I woke up with hard on because I'm dying. Because I don't know if it's me, right? But at altitude, when I'm dying for a piss, I wake up with hard on. Right? Is it me or is everyone like that? So I woke up with hard on, so I put my foot in my Reebok Classic, 39 quid by the way they were, you know the ankle ones, the proper ones.
Yeah, no fucking
proper ones.
Strap round.
So I put my foot in with no socks on and it was shit in there. I mean, fucking, I was fuming. Have you ever tried to wash shit off your foot in an airplane toilet? So what happened then, so I didn't know it was, so I pulled Robbie Jones, because I was right back England International. So I pulled him because I knew he'd be a grass, so I threatened to hit him and he said, it was Robbie. So I couldn't catch him on the plane because I had 1 foot full of shit. So I finally got the stewardess to get me some baby wipes. And then that sounded like the airplane toilet.
That's not sound effects, that's someone washing their feet in a golf club.
See, this is live, son, live.
This is what you get.
So I waited till Robbie we got into a rivals and just knocked him out.
Well, 1 punch out cold.
1 punch. It was sort of a right cross.
One of them.
From the shoulder. Don't hit from the hip, from the shoulder.
Hit from the bob, yeah?
Sorry, I got fang in my head. Still keep me fitness up, as you can tell.
Right, where are we? I'm fucking absolutely
flummoxed. We're talking about characters
in the Liverpool dressing room.
Well, the thickest one is McAteer because Jason McAteer.
Jason McAteer.
Well, we signed him from Bolton, right? Yeah, and his nickname in the Bolton dressing room was Trigger. He was thick as fuck. But Robbie Jones was called Trigger in the Liverpool dressing room as well. So when we signed McAteer, we couldn't have 2 triggers in the dressing room. So when McAteer signed, we called him Dave. After Rodney.
How thick was he?
Very thick. We was out one night, was in Lily Bordello's in Dublin on the piss. And I've spotted Jimmy White. I said, Jimmy White
snooker player.
He comes from like South London, Wandsworth, Dave Battersea, but he comes from, I've never met him, always my hero. And somebody, Jimmy White. So Jimmy White walks in and McAteer went, Jimmy! Jimmy, come here, son, come. When he started walking towards us, McAteer went, 180! Still ain't met Jimmy fucking White. Another time, right? He locked him. I'm on a roll now. He locked himself out his Porsche, right? So we tried getting it. It started it. Put the ease on, get the frost off, right? So we're standing there. And after about 5 minutes, we tried getting it. It locked itself while the keys were running. Right? So as we're trying to get in, like we're in Liverpool, like we had like trackies on, hoods up. Look like 2 scallywags trying to nick
it, yeah, fuck me.
So this police car's bigged it. Wait, what are you doing? So he gets out, we tell him, McAteer, Razor and all this bollocks. So the policeman went, okay, Mr. McAteer, so go inside. So get yourself a coat hanger, we'll try and open the coat hanger. McAteer went in, he come back out with a fucking wooden one. Another time we're in Ibiza, quickly. We had this big fuck off villa in Ibiza, Liverpool, had about 16. So we're there about 2 days, boring, no birds and nothing. So we said, right, we are a minibus in the morning, pick us up, go down the beach, half hour away, get loads of birds, bring it back, have a party, pool party, all that skinny dipping. So gets up in the morning, gets in the minibus, we're counting, there's only like 15, no Dave. Where's Dave? Where's Dave? Dave!
Home Alone moment.
Dave. He comes out with this big fuck off bag of ice, right? So he says, we doing that? He says, you think I'm stupid? He says, bag of ice, when we get to the beach, get all the wine, champagne, we have loads of ice, keep it nice and cold. I said, you fucking tit. I said, the beach is half hour away, that'll be melted. He went, oh yeah, I'm going to get another one. Now, if I'd have said it, it'd have been funny, because it'd been clever. He said it, and he was like, and as we said to him, he went, yeah, I knew that, yeah, I was joking.
Well, like one would melt within half hour, give you another bit of time, the other. Fucking hell. Right. It's a great story.
But it was great times, I mean, that's a massive, like Millwall, my favourite football club. Liverpool's the best football club. Everywhere I go, people say you play at Liverpool.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's where you make your name. Everyone wants to beat you, Liverpool. I've been all around the world, Liverpool. You know, there's no Champions League then.
No.
I come second twice, third twice, fourth twice. But the UEFA Cup was proper. They used to play.
Did you play in that 3-3 game?
Man United scored the equaliser against
did
United, yeah. That was 20-something years ago. But
yeah,
the UEFA Cups, but you'd play against the Milans and people like that, and PSGs. And
Best player you've ever played against?
Cantona,
Eric.
Bergkamp and Zola.
In that order? Just joint 3.
But I played against Scalacci, Van Basten.
Really? Van Basten, yeah?
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
Unbelievable.
Jean-Pierre Papin. You won't remember
Jean-Pierre Papin. Yeah, I like it.
Rui Costa nutmegged me twice, right, in 10 seconds. I went to do him Fiorentina away, UEFA Cup. I've got to smash him. He sort of put it through my legs with his right foot. And then I went, ole! So I turned around the up and do it again. He put it through my legs with the left foot. Ole! I was like at the bench, hamstring. Get me fucking out of here, Sarvis.
You told me just before we started filming about, which we'll get onto now, Millwall, and the now and how we're going to do next year and how Harris is doing. But tell us the story you've got on Harris.
Well, Chopper, as I call him, not Bomber, I'll call him Chopper.
Why? Has he got a chopper?
No, Chopper Harris. He used to play at Chelsea or something.
Yeah.
He, when he was about 17, Cambridge City used to play when he came to Liverpool on trial.
Yeah.
With the lad who used to play with Swansea. It was a good little player, fucking Swansea and Lee someone. Anyway, Chopper was a better goal scorer. But they didn't sign him, but I took him under my wing and he come to stay at my house.
Harris was on trial at Liverpool and he came to stay with Razor.
And I took him under my wing and he's never forgot, and I hope he never forgets it. I hope he don't get a sack because I don't get any free tickets, so he gets a sack. So stop getting on his back, because if he gets a sack, I'll have to pay and watch Millwall.
And you ain't doing that.
I ain't doing that. But I hope they do well. It's nice seeing this.
Mate, thanks
good
so
luck
much.
To Millwall and good luck to all the fans.
Neil Razor Ruddock, what a man. The MA Infrastructure sponsored Lions Lounge next Tuesday. Terry Urlock. And what about, go on, before that fag, just a quick one on Urlock.
Terry Urlock. What? Terry Urlock was one of the best players. Terry had a little chip. A little dinky chip. Everyone thought he'd just smash people and run around like a fucking bulldog. Ask him about his little wonderful, Razor said you've got a wonderful little chip.
Little chip, lovely, beautiful.
He had the best little chip I've ever seen in the game.
Just one last thing as well. Remember before you done the thing for me? Please subscribe to Lions TV. Give us a big, give us a... Lions TV, welcome to the Den on the channel's 3-year anniversary. It was 3 years ago to the very day that I stood on this spot after we beat Oldham 3-0 in League One. Since that day I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews and videos, but today obviously is a very different interview. You don't look much different. The man standing next to me, over 7 years at the Den, old and new, over 200 appearances for the club, the overlapping left-back legend, Ian Dawes.
I don't know about a legend, but...
Mate, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Before Millwall, we'll get into that, but you was at Queen's Park Rangers.
I was, yeah, left straight from school.
Straight from school, straight into football?
Straight into football.
You had a great career, but I just said I was looking at your Wikipedia page earlier, it may not be correct, but it said after you had a very similar career at QPR as you did to Millwall, similar amount of appearances, similar amount of years, but it says they got rid of you because they got rid of the plastic pitch, but you're saying no way.
Well, I just think the new manager obviously wanted to play someone else, although I did play quite a lot of the games, to be fair, because Mark Dennis came in, he was either injured, suspended, so I played probably majority of the games, but I was the sort of person I wanted to play all the time. Yeah. And
you said to me now you'd struggle with like the squad rotations these days.
Oh gosh, ridiculous, isn't it? Like, you're not playing today because we're going to rest you. It's like, it's like you ain't played for a week, or just 5 days. I just think it's too much, resting and all that. It's a load of rubbish, personally, but maybe that's why I can't walk and they can, maybe, I don't know.
Well, listen, QPR's loss was very much our game. You come to the Den, a great career at the Den. You signed by, obviously, the Doc? Yeah,
the Doc signed me. It was quite weird, because when I was at QPR, it was Tommy Docherty, who was manager at QPR, and then obviously came to Millwall, John Docherty, so a little coincidence there, sort of thing. So
what was he like, the Doc? I've interviewed Cascarino, I've interviewed Herlock. I've heard like some random stories. Cascarino said that the gaffer locked him in his office, wouldn't let him out until he signed, playing him with booze.
I think he was. Yeah, I think they were definitely old school. Doc was definitely old school. I think they were a good duo because he had like Frank with him as well, and we've got a couple of horses coming towards us. We might have to move a little bit.
We'll cut him with some photos. Hang on.
But yeah, it was.
No, they're going left there.
Oh, that's all right. But yeah, no, they were a good combination together. And yeah, it was a case of completely different to it is now. You know, they wouldn't be able to do that now.
Yeah, exactly. Was it like the old Den? What was it like to sign? Did you have any options other than Millwall? Or was Millwall the only club in?
I went to Coventry before that.
Oh,
they wanted to sign me for about 2 weeks before I came to Millwall. I'm born and bred like Croydon, so you know,
I ain't got to move house.
It was like, where are we? You know, Coventry, where's this? And it was like, nah, I'm not going there. So I sort of, in the end, it was sort of like, I'll go back to QPR, knuckle down, try and get back in the side more often. And then I think what it was, I think with the Millwall thing, it was like coming to the end of like their season, first season in the league, and I think they'd had a bad pre-season, so they had a game in the Den behind closed doors, and it was the game Nicky Coleman done his leg,
right.
And obviously I was playing, and I knew Frank from previous years. And we were just having a laugh, basically, me and Frank, and I didn't think anything of it, and obviously didn't think anything of like Nicky's injury. I thought it was just he got injured, he'd be all right after a while, but then next day it was Millwall were interested in you signing for him. So
7 years later,
that's how it started. So.
And you was one of the only players to ever play on the top flight for us.
I was.
You Player of the Year in 89-90.
Yeah. Unfortunately, wasn't that the year we went down? So it says it all.
You had a good season.
I had a good season. I scored 4 goals that year, so maybe that's why we went down, because I was up the wrong end.
Yeah, no one else was scoring. What was it? The dressing room and that, the players, the characters, Herlock, Cass.
To be honest, I remember my very first training session, and it was good training session. But I remember like Terry Herlock had the ball, and I was trying to get the ball off him, and like when you give people a whack and everything like that, I was just coming off him, you know. I couldn't. He was just like solid. I was just. He was. To be fair, he had this sort of. He was a hard man and everything like that, but he was a good player as well.
Yeah, he was a good player. And a lot of people with interviews said that he was a good player.
But that was the thing. I think because obviously the first year when we played in top flight, you know, we had some bloody good players, you know, and them players have gone on and played at top, you know, big clubs like Teddy, Cascarino, you know, Jimmy Carter.
Still here, Jimmy.
Exactly, but he went on, you know, you're talking Liverpool and places like that. We had some good players, and we played well to the system we played. But then, as you say, the following year we started to struggle. But we never then adapted to that. We didn't change, and I think we had the players that we could have changed.
So that sounds like a familiar story.
That was the only thing.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, you know, because obviously coming from QPR, we were football inside, whereas it was a different type of football. You know, we played both ways, and it was good. You know, but I think we did need to then try and change that following year, just a tad. You know, just to. You know, because they you know, good players get used to the way you do things, and then you have to adapt and try and do something different. But unfortunately, we just didn't do it quick, or we didn't do it quick enough.
No,
and then
you stuck at the club. You saw the transition between the new Den and the old. For those who won't remember the old Den, tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, it was great. The old Den was. I mean, to be fair, everyone knew where they were at the old Den, didn't they? You know, people knew where they were standing, and I think the first season with the new Den, it was like people would go to the ground and they were like, where are we? What do we do? Where do we go? And it was a bit like that. But yeah, the old Den, I remember playing there against Millwall for QPR actually in a cup, and it was quite intimidating. I must admit. It's
intimidating. I used to find it intimidating. I would say when your team was around, I was sort of your grandson's age, about 8-9 years old, and I used to be intimidated being a home fan. So.
No, I remember like coming out the tunnel, and they were all leaning. Everyone was leaning over the over the tunnel bit, shouting nice things to you and all that.
So nice it made you want to sign for
Well,
it.
that's it. And I never thought, well, I'll be here. So I'll be here soon. So, but to be fair with the fans, if you know, you could be having a stinker game, as long as you are trying your heart out, they'll stick by you.
Nice.
You know, and I just felt that was. You know, because there were games where you know, you could be the best player in the world and you're still going to have a bad game.
Oh no, of course you've hit the nail on the head. It's absolutely the Millwall way and the mentality of the fans. It's still the same now.
Yeah.
You work your bollocks off, then they'll love you for it. And say over 200 appearances. You say you scored 5 goals for Millwall.
I did, yeah.
You see,
4 of them were in one season.
What one sticks out best for you?
I think the Charlton game when we were 2-1 down. I think it was about 4 minutes to go, something like that, 3-4 minutes to go. And it came out, and I think it was David Thompson. I think the ball came out, and he clipped it back in, and I just made this run and got behind, and it like just clipped it over the keeper, and 2-2. So yeah, that one. Nice. And I think the other one was, I think it was, although I must say it was David Speedy went in goal, I think, and he was only
I saw
tiny.
someone comment on this the other day on Twitter.
And it was a free kick, and I smacked it in the top corner. But so. Being that he was so small, probably couldn't get it anyway. But
well, I remember you being. I thought, I say my 9-year-old memory's a little bit blurred. I thought you was a right back. Was you a right-footed left back?
Yeah, I was really. Yeah, I mean, I think I had that all my life. Whereas, because at QPR we had Warren Neil, who was predominantly right-footed and wanted to play right back, and I thought, well, I'll play left back then, so I can use my left foot. And so I did, and I just ended up playing there basically.
Jobs are good.
Yeah, but the nice thing was you sort of like players I'd played with, like Mickey Flanagan was at QPR in front of me, and he went to Crystal Palace, and I remember going to Crystal Palace for a Millwall game actually, and he came out, well, we were warming up, and he went, look, Dawes, we've had a chat and that, and they said, oh, what foot is he? And he said, I don't know. I said, Mick, we played for years together. I said, you must know what foot I am. He went, no, I don't. What are you? I went, we'll find out. And that was it. So in a way, it was sort of nice that people just thought I was left-footed. But
no, you was a great player. So I'd looked on your Wikipedia page, and not everything on there is correct because the pictures of some Paul Val player were blonde there.
Yeah. Well, at least he's got hair though. This is good. So.
But a lot of people said, you know, Kenny Sampson was a great fullback for England, but you'd never got a call for England. But a lot of people believe you was that good.
Well, I think I differ. Kenny Sampson was quality. He was a great player. I went with the under-21s twice.
Nice.
I think because I wasn't left-footed, I think they all thought I was, and then when I turned up and started coming in on my right foot, and they were like, oh, okay, it's not left-footed. So I think I never really got the chance with the under-21s, basically because I wasn't left-footed. But it's one of them things, you know. You
had a fantastic career, and it's like you say, you never had to move out of Croydon for it either, probably.
That's it. That was a nice thing, yeah.
No, it must be though.
Oh,
some
definitely.
players have to go here, there, everywhere. You've gone boom, boom, 2 clubs.
Well, that's it. I mean, to be honest, I would have, you know, no disrespect to Millwall, and I would have stayed at QPR if they'd wanted me.
Yeah.
Because I was a loyal sort of person, you know, and the same thing with the Millwall thing. Now I've got my 2 kids that are around.
Well, it's thanks to your daughter West Standing here today, because she's a Millwall fan, watches the channel.
They're both Millwall nuts. She works for Millwall.
Here's your boys coming in now.
There's my son. I think he's my son.
Uncle David, James, love ya.
But he's about 6 foot, so I don't know whether he is mine, really. But.
Oi, Lions TV, he's a legend.
No, he's a legend here, mate.
Ian Dawes, legend.
But yeah, so no, they're Millwall nutters.
I've clocked that one already. So obviously the transition, moving on to now your family being here today at the Den, the transition between the old, which is just over there, and the new. Yeah. What was that like for you? Was it exciting times around the club? Was there a level of expectancy that we're going to go on to bigger and better things?
To be fair, we should have. I mean, we got in the playoffs twice, and both times we as players expected to go up, because we were playing fantastic football. And realistically, we probably should have gone up automatically both years, but we just missed out.
Third, didn't we? Like miles clear of Derby, and then we won't talk about that game.
But then the playoffs, we just, I don't know, I wouldn't say we froze, but we just didn't play or didn't perform in any of the games as well as we had done. That was, you know, and I would say that was probably the most disappointing part of it in the playoffs. You know, the rest of the season we were great. So,
eventually, you left. Did you leave the club through injury? Was it?
Yeah, I had to retire through bad knee basically. So I think my last game was Chelsea in the cup final. No, we went to penalties.
Went to penalty there, going after a 0-0.
Yeah. So
not a bad game to end it on.
I know, but unfortunately, it was the next game was QPR.
Yeah, that's right.
We lost 1-0, and I was in my head when I was warming up Chelsea. And I was like, you know, like when you side foot the ball and it's like the pain, and I'm thinking, oh God, what am I doing? You know, should I be out here? But I did okay in the game, but then unfortunately the knee swelled up again, and I was thinking, this was Tuesday we played, and the game Saturday at QPR, and I think I've got to really try my hardest, and to finish off, and think, well, if that could be the last game, QPR Millwall. Be fantastic, you know, and then retire from there. But
well, mate, it wasn't to be. Good way to end it. And not only are you a Millwall legend, you've bred Millwall's full supporters. So thanks so much for joining us.
Right,
cheers,
welcome.
mate. Good man. Thank you.
Cheers,
mate. Thanks.